What's up guys, it's USA Specialist, and Battlefield 2042's newest map feels just like Battlefield 4 in some of the best and worst ways.
Highly trained soldiers with no country left to fight for.
The U.S. and Russia are both being accused of fielding armed no-pats in an escalating fight over vital resources.
With Battlefield 2042's latest season, New Dawn, has come our newest map, Reclaimed. An environment that wears its Battlefield 4 inspiration on its sleeves, it feels very much like the spiritual successor to Zavad 311. While this new map looks phenomenal with more detail and more cover than ever before, the team's push towards realism really hurts the gameplay and creates an environment that's much more spectacle over substance. While Reclaimed looks realistic and feels down to earth, it's ultimately banking on nostalgia to get fans' attention. There are moments this map works very well, bringing back a feeling of classic boots on the ground gameplay, but more often than not is a hectic mess that replicates some of Battlefield 4's most frustrating characteristics. But like always, hit subscribe and let's jump into the good, the bad, and the ugly of Battlefield's newest map, Reclaimed. To kick things off, Reclaimed is pretty much exactly what Battlefield fans want when it comes to the art direction of a map. A gritty, war-torn environment that feels very real-world. An environment that the player can easily see themselves being a part of. With this, Reclaimed does a great job of providing consistent visual detail and cover across the entire space, even if Reclaimed is the smallest map to date, only supporting 64 players. Reclaimed has a lot of nooks and crannies, unique assets, and small details like exposed rebar and graffiti. With this density of cover, corridors, and scenery, the gunfights are often unique and intimate as each player dances around cover and has a lot of options when it comes to positioning.
Oh my god. Holy shit.
You feel like you are really part of a larger conflict, but you're still engaged in smaller, risky fights where you dive cover to cover and reposition as detailed destruction chips away at your position, exposing rebar, showering you in debris, and leaving a scar on the world around you. Reclaimed, if anything, is immersive and should be great on smaller, limited-time modes like Shutdown, as the map is much better when experienced in smaller, bite-sized pieces. Moving on to the bad, and I have a few complaints. First off, while I appreciate the smaller size and 64 players, DICE is set on including every vehicle on every map. With this being the case, Reclaimed can cause infantry players to be cornered very easily by vehicles, as they can close distance and defend objectives very quickly. So even if you and your squad get that back flank and go for their home objective, the fact is, their tank can get from one end of the map to the other before you can capture. And the same thing goes for players. I feel like I'm always being run up on from areas I just checked. With a smaller map comes denser mix of audio, spawns, and battle lines, which make engagements difficult to predict as you can't hear, see, or understand where the next person should be coming from. With threats always being unpredictable, I've taken to just playing this map very passively, sitting in corners, holding doorways, and staying aimed down sights more often than not. Another rather small complaint is that from what I've seen, Reclaimed has no interactable features. No doors, no garage doors, no levolution, nothing. And while the AA gun is a great touch, I think this map, more than any other, really needs something like doors to give the players a little bit more agency when it comes to shaping the flow of combat. With so much explosive spam, so many angles of attack, and corners to camp, Some more significant features like garage doors or blast shields for players to open or close could allow a team to section off areas and control the gameplay a little bit more in my opinion. But with a combination of vehicles always being nearby, engagements coming from unpredictable directions, a tighter play space, and lots of cover and cluttered visuals, Reclaim seems to encourage players to stay at the edge of the map or fight over rooftops in order to have their back against the wall. All of this is bad enough, but one more factor makes it even worse. Now, the real nail in the coffin for this map is its visibility. The map is already tight with way too many angles to watch at once, vehicles always patrolling, helicopters always overhead, and a lot of cover to fight across. But what slows this map down more than anything else is its poor visibility. This map feels a lot like the Battlefield 5 map Merida. With so many textures, bushes, debris, and unique assets, the map looks great, but it's so hard to scan and quickly find enemies, thus causing the player to be rewarded for camping, holding angles, and staying aimed down sights. In true Battlefield 4 fashion, I often find myself spamming the spot button to highlight enemies because I can never be sure of what I'm looking at. There are moments where the visual clutter is less of an issue, like when you're on the rooftop of C or in the bunker of D. Thus, you'll find a lot of players who fight over those areas because of their power positions because of their visibility. The majority of this map is incredibly frustrating. With lots of dark corners, textures, bushes, and debris, the visibility is bad. With so many angles to cover a smaller play space and vehicles always being a stone's throw away, the map creates a panicked, hectic gameplay. And with all of those factors put together, it often rewards campers as they can pick a very specific lane, sit in a bush, and wait for players who won't be able to see them. While many of these downsides are fixable, like visibility, I ultimately think Reclaimed is a map that will win fans over because of nostalgia, not its gameplay, at least not on big modes. On the other hand, the detailed map design that allows a lot of player options and nuanced gunfights should lend itself nicely to smaller game modes like Shutdown, where a few players can really immerse themselves into the detailed world of Reclaimed.
Oh, there it is!
Oh. There's the other one. Got him.
He's got like a...
Front door. Got him.
Overall, DICE has nailed the look of what fans want, but haven't nailed the fundamentals of lane structure, player visibility, or battle readability. I often see players just run into a gunfight, die after getting shot from 10 different people, respawn, and do it all again. While I think Reclaimed nails a lot of what fans were looking for, overall from a gameplay perspective, I think it's the weakest new map yet. But hopefully some new modes or updates to visibility can change that, because the map looks and feels so immersive. But guys, drop those comments below and tell me what you think of the new map. For everything else Battlefield, stay tuned and subscribe, and as always, thank you guys for watching.